As of today, this mystery is yet not solved, but I feel like I have faced the facts and the demons that have haunted me. The night started like any other Saturday in our small town. My name is Eric, and I was 28 years old. I had just wrapped up a poker session with my best friends at Bob's Garage Storage, where Jack, Bob, Jim, and I gathered for some good old jazz, liquor, and laughter. But before I tell you about that fateful night, let me take you back to when I first met my pregnant fiancée, Amelia. It was a warm summer day at a food festival in town. I was drawn to her infectious laughter and the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her love for exotic cuisines. We shared a plate of spicy noodles, and from that moment, I knew she was the one. Our love blossomed, and soon after, we found out we were expecting a child. Fast forward to that evening in 1987. We were in the midst of our poker game when a call interrupted our usual revelry. It was Amelia, her voice trembling with fear. She begged me to come home because someone had been lurking around our house, knocking on the windows. She called from the old rotary phone, and I could hear the fear in her voice. I left the poker table immediately to check on Amelia. When I got there, I found no sign of a person or a car. I comforted Amelia and assured her it was just her imagination, likely heightened by her pregnancy. Amelia and I spent the night together, and eventually exhaustion overtook our worries. But our peaceful slumber was short-lived. In the middle of the night, our world was shattered. A group of 5 individuals burst into our home, rushed into our bedroom, and dragged us out. I fought with every ounce of strength I had, but they overwhelmed me and knocked me unconscious, just as they did with Amelia. They took us to an old, abandoned industrial shoe factory where they subjected both of us to relentless torture. Their questions centered on a code name, Hound House, and the whereabouts of money that was supposed to be sent to DC. I remember those 3 agonizing days as if they were an eternity. During that time, I only had fleeting glimpses of Amelia. We never thought we would make it out alive. The 2 men who conducted the interrogations and administered the torture kept their faces hidden behind black masks, and their identities remained a mystery to me. The only thing I do remember is the tattoo that the short, muscular guy had on their left hand. It was a bear claw with the letter T on it in the middle of the paw. And the longer, muscular guy with a German accent had a really bad hearing. During those agonizing days in the shoe factory, I could sense my own fear and desperation. I was trapped in a nightmare I couldn't escape, and the sounds that echoed in that dark and eerie place still haunt my nightmares. The factory was a place of horrors. The creaking of rusty machines and the constant dripping of water were the backdrop to my ordeal. The air was heavy with the stench of dampness, mold, and old leather. It clung to my clothes and filled my nostrils, adding to the feeling of hopelessness that surrounded me. Despite the unbearable conditions, there was one thing that kept me from losing my sanity during those dark hours: the thought of Amelia and our unborn child. The love I felt for her and the promise of a future with our child was a glimmer of light in the darkness. I clung to the hope of reuniting with her, of cradling our child in my arms, and that thought kept me from completely breaking down. On the 3rd day, something shifted. They finally realized that my name was Eric, not Jack. The 2 men left for a while, and when they returned, they knocked me out once more. When I came to, I found myself in a parking lot, nearly 15 miles from home. A security guard woke me, assuming I had indulged in too much alcohol. But Amelia was nowhere to be seen. I explained my ordeal to the security guard and made my way to the police station. Back at our home, a search party was in full swing. Our house was in disarray, and we had been missing for over 3 days. I was relieved to be back, but my heart ached for Amelia, who was still missing. As days turned into weeks, I uncovered a startling revelation. Jack was deeply in debt to a powerful and dangerous criminal network. He, just as me, had a girlfriend named Amelia, and they both lived on the street next to me and Amelia, sharing our house number 43. The kidnappers had made a terrible mistake, confusing Jack's girlfriend with me and my Amelia. To this day, Amelia has not been found, and I can't help but fear the worst. The kidnappers remain at large, their power extending far beyond the reach of the law. And I'm left with haunting memories of those terrifying days. The years that followed our ordeal were marked by a relentless search for Amelia. In 2003, advances in DNA technology offered a glimmer of hope, but our attempts to identify the kidnappers ultimately failed, leaving their identities a mystery. My story became a cautionary tale in our small town, a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of love. To this day, I continue to hope and search, living with the chilling reality that my beloved Amelia may never return to my arms.